Deep in the forests of Northern Ireland, a war has been raging. And it's a war that's been raging for literally decades, and a war with many combatants, ranging from the Forestry Service, casual walkers, bushcraft enthusiasts, mountain bikers, dirt bike riders, trail runners, and of course, the badgers. For just about as long as I can remember, every single year, round about spring, mountain bike trails, illegal mountain bike trails, because there's no official mountain bike centres in many of these forests, start to spring up. And often they have really amazing feats of engineering go into them. And every year, I now love to go and run them. Now you might say, Stephen, why don't you actually go and cycle them? Yeah, I did go through a brief mountain bike period, but then what happened was, well, something a bit like this. That is pretty much exactly how it looked in my head. But after I had, I think, 3-4 crashes on the mountain bike, I suddenly remembered, you know what, Stephen? You're self-employed. You cannot afford to be getting injured, so that ended the mountain biking. But still, every year I love to come and run on them, and I'm going to show you a few of the trails, so strap in, because this is going to be a roller coaster thrill ride through the woods. Maybe thrill rides, not guaranteed. The start of the first one, this is one of my favourites because it's just a really nice short trail with a few jumps in it, and I'm not going to show you where the start or the end of any of these trails is, because I don't want to give the position away and just contribute to them being destroyed, because that's what happens every single year. Huge amount of work is put into these trails, and then someone, not sure who, maybe it's the Forestry Service, maybe it's people who just don't like fun, destroy them, and then the process begins every year. But let's go run this one. Built bridges, including building drainage systems into it. I got a very strange look from a couple of mountain bikers when I came out the other end of that. But yeah, so much work's gone into that. You can see there's bridges built, drainage systems built. They've even put down like netting on the ground and covered it with gravel so that the run's good. Right. Next place I'm heading up to is where there's been trails for much longer, and usually there's quite a few big jumps up there, so I'll go check that bit out. This bit here, that back there is where I had my accident. Well, 2 accidents, a really steep ditch. I saw other mountain bikers heading down into it with success, and I thought, why can't I do that? So I just nosed the bike straight down in, hit the ball, bang, over the top, smashed my hand, couldn't move my thumb for a week. In here is actually a really good example of why like spruce forests like this are actually a really terrible way of planting new trees for diversification, because if you look at the ground here, what do you see? It's just brown. All the light's cut out from the top as well, so next to nothing can grow in here, which is a shame. It really is. Yeah, plant some spruce, plant your pine, but put some native trees in as well in bunches. Long term, I just think that'd be a much better solution. Word of advice, if you do decide to run mountain bike trails as a runner, be aware of 2 things. One is firstly that if it's at an official mountain bike centre, you're not allowed to run or walk on the trails because it's dangerous, there's that many mountain bikes. These illegal ones aren't so bad because there tends to be less people on them, but at the same time you're still safer running uphill, because then you can see the mountain bikers coming down towards you because they always go downhill. And if you are going to run down them, try and make sure there's no bikers behind you, and definitely do not listen to music on the way down. This next one I'm about to go down, which starts here, is really interesting because it leads to like an open area deep inside the forest with like old stone walls. There's huts and shacks and things that have been built in there, as well as the biggest jump in the forest. So let's go. Oh wait, no, it's this way. Hello? There's nobody there. And I'm out. It's a little bit of a shame in a way that there aren't any official mountain bike centres here in this area or in this forest. Especially because I know at one point it was actually planned. There was supposed to be a mountain bike centre in this particular nameless forest. And it just never happened for one reason or the other. And it would have been great, especially now with everything going on, if there had been an outdoor centre here. But there isn't. So, oh well. Right, I'm going to do one more trail. And it's one that I've noticed from just years of talking to various mountain bikers and hearing things, they name a lot of the trails in here, and there's one of them here that's called Star Wars. And I'm going to go and I'm going to run Star Wars and see if you can figure out why it's called that, or at least why I think it's called that. No one's ever told me officially, but I've a good idea. See if you can figure it out. Okay, just a small disclaimer. I don't know for 100% if this is actually the trail that's known as Star Wars, but there's something about it makes me think it is, so let's run it and let's see if you can figure out why.
Standing by.
Lock S files and attack positions.
Did you figure it out? Well, I nearly said goodbye to my ankle. So yeah, I think that was Star Wars. If you think you'll know why it was called that, post in the comments, let me know. That's me pretty much done with these trails. I'm gonna now run a loop around the forest and then head over the top of a mountain on the other side, and then get back to the car, and that'll be me. Wood sorrel. Tastes a little bit like the skin of a green apple, but don't eat too much of it because I think if you do, it can give you terrible diarrhea. And thus concludes the bushcraft section of this running video. Oh, that's pretty much it. I'm just walking back to the car now. I hope you enjoyed this little tour. And I would be interested to know what you think in the whole debate of actually should mountain bikers be allowed to build those trails or not. They don't have permission. Do you think they should be allowed to have permission? They definitely put a lot of care and attention into the construction, but I imagine that any kind of official permission would then all of a sudden have insurance implications, so it's hard to know. Possibly the Forest Service have like no choice but every year to come in and destroy them. Maybe they would be happy to turn a blind eye if it can't for the insurance reasons. Who knows? Although if you do work for the Forestry Service, I would be interested in getting an opinion from that side on it, because I don't know anybody who works for the Forestry Service. So it'd be interesting to find out what their perspective on this is. And again, as I said earlier, if you're a runner and you're going to go and run trails like this, there have been pretty much every forest I've been in across Northern Ireland has got these mountain bike trails in them. If you are going to go and run them, be really careful. Try to run up them rather than down them if there's bikers in the area. And if you are running on them, do not play music through headphones when you're on them, because the bikers come down at incredible speed. And if you don't see them, they might not see you, and you both might wind up in hospital, which is the last thing we need at the minute. So, on that cheerful note, goodbye. Ooh.